What's good? It's Terrell Hines, and I'm hanging out with Rob from Front Row Live.
I got sent your music, and then instantly I was just like, "Can we book this interview?" Like I became a fan like instantly. Talk to me about these three songs that you just released as your introduction to your music.
Okay, so basically the whole project, St. Mark Road, that's where I'm from originally.
Yeah.
So St. Mark Road is it's in Dublin, Georgia,
Okay.
which is like 2 hours south of Atlanta.
Yeah.
And basically, I just wanted to explore like different landscapes on like that my actual home made me feel. So I just put it out through like Sonics, kind
Yeah.
of sort of. That was the whole project. And then it's weird because like all these other ideas started to collide and like come together, and it turned into this whole like world. Because
Right.
I'm in the world building.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was the vibe that I got instantly. That it's like it's a pretty insane like visual. Like just listening to the music, I'm
Yeah.
picturing so many other things going on. So like I can't imagine what that's like in the studio. Like as you're creating these tracks.
Yeah, it's a process, but it's like when you start to look at everything as like hyper objects,
Yeah.
you start to look at everything like that. So like from the world, music, like ecosystems,
Right.
and then you just kind of deconstruct and construct. So that's how I treat like every record. Yeah.
That's crazy. So, talk to me about going into the studio, like producers wise. I know you also do some producing as
Yeah.
well. So, did you do this record on your own? Did you have other people jump in on board? I noticed that you have some pictures with Seth from Ex Ambassadors in the
Yeah.
studio. Was this part of this?
Nah, that wasn't a part of this project, but like I know like ex ambassadors very well, and
Yeah.
we got some stuff in the works, but in the studio, mainly I work with like a couple producers, Noah Conrad, Ryan Linville, Danny Silverstein, like one of my like friends from everybody's from college. Like we went to Berkeley together,
Yeah.
so it's like we all just I kind of know what I want,
Uh-huh.
so it's like I'm putting stuff together all the time. I'm not necessarily like in there like I might produce a beat here and there, but like
Right.
there's so many missing pieces to the music that I want to put together.
Right.
Sometimes it takes like people to kind of build the music and construct it.
And like, trying to discover your sound, like did it take you some time to kind of figure out this sound that you're creating, or did you already know like this is what Terrell Hines is all about?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm more concerned with like exploring landscapes, like your auditory scene,
Yeah.
and like getting deep into that stuff, and like, okay, if I can create music that can make you think you're seeing something visually, like that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not really concerned with anything else but that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. So talk to me about Get Up, which was like the single that everybody heard for the first time. And then you also got featured like as a keynote for the Apple keynote. So
Yeah.
how did you get an opportunity like that? Because I feel like if it's not the presidential like election, like that's the
Yeah.
other thing that the whole world is kind of sitting down and watching.
Yeah, I mean, with stuff like that, like it goes back to the work you put in for the music.
Yeah.
So I feel like music resonates,
Mhm.
and it just so happened to resonate in that space,
Yeah.
and like it just kind of, you know what I'm saying? That's how it works. Like when when you put the time in with the music, you never know who's gonna like
Yeah.
hear it and be like, oh, this or this little piece of this, and it's like it's cool to work with and be a part of something like Apple.
Right.
So it's cool all around.
Now talk to me about your delivery and like you go from like speaking to singing to rapping like all in one track. Like how do you learn to do something like that? And is that like a process that you kind of had to build yourself up for?
Yeah, I mean, so for me, I've been playing drums since I was 2 years old. So I'm 24 now, and over time, like you get this whole musical vocabulary
Yeah.
that you just never forget,
Yeah.
and it's like I got good associative memory.
Right.
So music is kind of like I can create a melody here and make and go. My bridge might be a different world than my chorus, and then my verses might be a whole nother world than my second chorus, or however I want to construct it. That's kind of how it works.
I feel like when other artists have like try to do something like that where they
Yeah.
kind of dabble around. I always say like it's mathematics. Like that's what it
Yeah,
seems like.
it's not really mathematics. It depends on how you looking at it.
Yeah.
Like I said, like I look at everything as like hyper objects. So
Yeah.
that means I can deconstruct and construct it.
Right.
So it's kind of that's the process, and you know when it comes back out the speakers if it's right or not. Because sometimes you might construct all of these ideas and put them together, and the worlds might not. They might crash a little too much, and I'm like, okay, let me rethink that and build it again, like
Right.
that type of situation.
So as you created these three songs for the EP, like what was the track that kind of challenged you the most? And if so, like how did it challenge you on this record?
I think it was Feel Good Because I think the way we made it in like a old garage, like rustic garage,
Yeah.
but it sounds so like I don't know, it's got like a euphoric feeling about it, and it was hard trying to get that euphoric feeling from the music from where we produced it at and where we made it.
Yeah.
So like sometimes it's like you if you making it in like a rustic like place, it should sound rustic and rustic modern or whatever you want it to sound like. So that song was more of like a chill vibe, but the space we made it in, it was crazy. It was like, how do we get to the end point of this, creating it in this space? And that was kind of like a challenge mix wise and stuff like that. But you get there. Yeah.
So, you know, this is your debut for the world, but at the same time, it's your debut with Capitol Records, which is insane. Like, do you remember, like, how that kind of came about for you? Like, did you approach them? Did they approach you?
Yeah, so it was a situation where like I've been working on music for a long time. Like I moved out here from Boston to do music, like 'cause that's what I like to do. So it was a whole process of just me like putting out music, like okay, cool, this is not working, like trying to construct it myself and like figuring out like okay, what are the pieces that I need to like put this art project I'm trying to finish together. And then as I started, you know, working with people, trial and error stuff started like just kind of working out. Like people like when you start really working and getting to it, it's people that'll get to it with you, and like that's the people that you have to like if you're gonna get something done. That's kind of like you just get it done. So I was more like I got this big art project I want to work on. How can I get it done? And then all of a sudden, people that wanted to work on a big art project started to reach out. Yeah.
That's cool. And that's what like I kind of feel with your music. I feel like it's an art project. Like it's not like a band, it's not a music thing. It's an art project.
Yeah. Like that's what it is. Like it's literally me exploring every auditory scene that I can possibly like make and just give a feeling to people because music is music. It's just sound. So it's like you really have to like be able to dig into that and like just put it out in the world. Like it's all real ideas and like world building. Let the world see like an art project instead of just like another like here go another song. Like everything should feel like you know what I'm saying art. It's music. That's what it is.
So it's cool because like Capitol pays attention to you, obviously. Like you know, Apple paid attention to you, and you know now you're gaining all your new fans from this EP. But then Beck also paid attention to you, and it's like you got to be a part of Beck's upcoming album. And like I don't know if you collaborated with Pharrell as well because I know he kind of co-produced the record. But like, what was that vibe and experience like for you?
So it was an interesting experience. Like it was a situation where like I say, when you were trying to work on an art project, people start to gravitate around and be like, okay, this is like a real thing going on. So it was another situation where like, I guess Beck heard the music and he was working on an album and was like, okay, like who is this? Like what's going on? Like, and then I met Beck actually and like chopped it up right quick and it was just like, okay, cool. And the next thing you know, he was like, what could you do with this? And I'm like, let me see what we're working with. And I just kind of put my taste on it.
That's cool.
Yeah, and that was the process of it.
As you got to collaborate with him, did he kind of impact you in any way? Like the way that you know when you go back into the studio and create your stuff, did that kind of influence anything?
It influenced it influenced me to know that like people are still pushing like boundaries, sound wise within like their context, like what they're doing. So for me, I was like, okay, that's good to see. Like and actually work with because that lets me know that's a real thing still. So that was kind of like the key point for me in that situation. Like, oh, that's crazy. Like he's actually really he's taking his own sound and working with like Pharrell. I didn't meet Pharrell or whatever, but like he had been working on those records, I guess, for like a minute. And the fact that I was listening, I'm like, yo, this is intense. This is cool. Like so that made me feel good as an artist to know like he was still pushing the boundaries. Yeah.
So we're here today at your rehearsal spot. It sounded great, like from what I heard earlier. So like you're getting ready for tour already. Like that's crazy. Like you drop your EP, you just signed, tour's happening. 2020 is like kicking off crazy. You're going on tour with X Ambassadors for 2020. Like, tell me about what can fans expect for this tour, for this journey that you're about to take us on.
It's gonna be a lot of energy. There's a lot of good energy, like a lot of like good energy and good music. At the end of the day, like it's gonna be good. Like you never know what to really expect. Like to be honest with you, like when you're dealing with an artist like me, like you just be prepared for whatever.
Now, yesterday I posted something speaking about this person, and I noticed that he follows you too, Mike Shinoda. And
Yeah.
so I kind of want to put this up in the air because, like, I feel like you and Mike would create some crazy madness in like the music world. So, like,
Yeah.
if it hasn't happened already, can we try and get a collaboration with you and Mike?
Uh, like I say,
Uh-oh.
what I can say is that just be prepared for anything.
Okay.
Like realistically, but I can say like Mike is somebody that like I met him and then we clicked off.
Yeah.
Like he really understands like me as an artist. I understand him as an artist. So it's a whole vibe like of its own. Kind of like a mentor. Like low key like he's a real like he's a real he a cool dude. But like you just never know what to expect.
Yeah.
I can't. That's all I can say.
That's exciting, man. I can't wait for
Yeah.
what's to come after this. Like, again, congratulations
Yeah,
with
appreciate it,
with the
bro.
debut EP. You guys be sure to check out Terrell Hines. Get the new EP. It's called.
St. Mark Road.
Hey, thanks for watching on Front Row Live.